Hey guys, Jeremy Pickett here, and I want to welcome you to the Totality of Alignment. Before we begin, I want to name something important. What we're working with here isn't a single technique or a quick fix. It's part of a larger system. Mind, body, vibration. These aren't separate goals. They're interconnected aspects of how we experience life. So today, we're not trying to cover everything. We're intentionally focusing on one essential piece of the mind. Okay, the mind is what's going to set conditions for everything else. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't in life. Okay, if awareness is unstable, if the nervous system is constantly reacting, if attention is scattered, no amount of effort, positivity, or intention can hold. Think of this like tending a garden. Before anything sustainable can grow, the soil has to be prepared. Today is about preparing the soil, learning how to regulate mental noise, stabilize awareness, and create the internal conditions where alignment becomes possible. The body and the vibration matter as well, and we're going to explore them, but regulation starts here. So let's slow down. Let's begin with the mind. That's the best place to start, because when mental noise quiets, everything else becomes accessible. But the totality of alignment is definitely built on three pillars that work together: mind, body, vibration. All right, when they're all aligned, effort drops and results compound. As for the mind, we want to quiet the narration and stabilize awareness. For the body, we want to regulate the nervous system and restore physical safety. We want the body headed in the right direction. And we want to be able to choose our internal state deliberately and consistently. That's going to be the vibration part. All right, I don't want to rush through all three today. Alignment is not something that you cram, it's something that you stabilize. So we're going to focus on the foundation, mind regulation. You are going to feel a moment of calm, clarity, stillness, detachment. It might be the first time you've ever experienced this. The mental quiet that we're going to achieve during this lesson together, it's not accidental. All right, in the next sections, we're going to build on this. Right now, we're going to learn how to quiet mental noise, regulate attention, and return to stillness on command. This matters because without a quiet mind, nothing else can be chosen deliberately. Your thoughts are going to run you, not the other way around. After that, we're going to dive into vibration. Once the mind is clear, we can start to talk about the state that you're broadcasting. This is where vibration and the law of attraction actually begin to make sense, not as ideas, but as lived experiences. When awareness is steady and the mind is quiet, your internal frequency becomes clear, and it naturally rises. From there, alignment becomes something you generate, not something you chase. So take a breath. When you're ready, you can move into the next pillars. They've all been pre-recorded as well, and they're free trainings which are easily implemented. This is the root of almost every frustration I see. We try to change results, health, money, relationships, without stabilizing the system that produces them. And when that happens, effort turns to friction. All right, alignment isn't a reward you earn after a change. It's the condition that allows the change to happen at all. Now, when you hear the phrase mental health, notice what comes up in your mind. Not what you think it should mean, but what actually comes up. For many people, it's words like anxiety, depression, disorder, imbalance. And there's nothing wrong with acknowledging those experiences, but here's the subtle issue. When mental health is framed primarily as pathology, the nervous system stays in problem-solving mode, and alignment can't emerge from that state. This work isn't about denying struggle, it's about recognizing that calm, clarity, and coherence are states, not achievements, and states can be stabilized. So just notice which image feels closer to your experience lately. Not your best days, not your worst days, but most days. This isn't about judging yourself. It's about recognizing a state. And here's the important part. Most people assume this is a mind issue, so they try to think their way to clarity. But mental clarity is usually the result of something else being settled first. Now for you, what makes a mind healthy? Most people assume it's something you have to train or strengthen. A quiet mind is actually a byproduct of alignment. Now, we say that our mind wanders, but that's not actually what happens. Think about your last vacation. Notice how quickly pleasant memories come up. All right, now I want you to think about your last argument. Notice how different that feels. If you've taken the time to do this, those memories didn't move. Those emotions didn't wander around in your brain. Your attention moved. And wherever attention goes, experience follows. So when people say my mind wanders, what they're really describing is unstable attention. And attention becomes unstable when the system underneath it isn't settled. Not because you're broken, but because your body and your inner state are carrying tension. Okay, most people think clarity takes time or effort or fixing something that's broken or revisiting the past and fixing something. But clarity is actually a state. You've experienced it before, moments where your head feels crowded, and then moments where everything suddenly feels light and simple. People say, I just need to get out of my head. But the mind isn't something you leave. You don't unplug from it, you don't remove it. The brain stays right where it is. What actually moves is the awareness, which is what I'm going to teach you here to do today. How to get your awareness out of your head. Okay, it's something that you tune into. Now, learning to work with awareness is simple, but it does take practice. Look at this image. She isn't fighting her thoughts. She isn't suppressing them. She's simply no longer lost inside them. Her awareness isn't trapped in the endless stream of thinking. It's deliberately placed in the palm of her hand. Now, here's the part most people never learn. Your mind isn't broken, it doesn't need fixing, it simply has different modes of operation. When the narration is consistent, activity is high, this is a beta wave. When the narration quiets, activity shifts into an alpha wave. Okay, a Zen state, meditation, not by force, not by control, but where attention is placed. So the brain naturally moves through these different states during the day and night. None of them are bad. We just don't want to get stuck in one. So let's talk about what actually happens when your mind feels busy. Right now, most people live in a constant stream of internal narration, words, commentary, analysis, replays. That internal dialogue is what we experience as mental noise. When the mind is constantly talking, the brain is in a high activity problem-solving mode. Useful when needed, exhausting as a default. Now stay with me here. We all have different brain waves and their frequencies. Meditation, the style I teach, is basically the act of quieting your mind, which will bring you through all of these waves consciously. Right now, we're going to pretend that the words that I'm saying are going through my mind instead of coming through my mouth. So right now, I'm thinking words and they're not stopping. Right now, my brain is in a constant beta wave state. It's busy, always talking, constant stream of words filling your mind, conceptualizing everything. I have achieved a beta wave this whole time. Now, if I'm capable of stopping the words inside my head, my brainwave will start to switch to an alpha brainwave, a state of no words, meditation, Zen, nirvana, as the Buddha would call it. So as for the meditation I teach, it's really about controlling your brainwaves by quieting the mind to a complete silence. If you can stop the words in your head, you can slow the beta waves, you get to a state of meditation. If you can stay there, you'll achieve an alpha wave. If you stay there for any amount of time, you'll slip into a theta wave, which is now where you can reprogram your subconscious. Now we're talking hypnosis, which is the state before you fall asleep. That would be a delta wave, delta sleep wave. Okay, a child will go through all of these stages growing up. When they're just born, they're predominantly in a delta and theta brainwave, and that's why they sleep so much. And this will last from a newborn till about 2 years old. And then they'll stay mostly in theta waves from 2 to 6, where they're very in their own world. They're kind of dreamy, not really showing any signs of rational thinking. Between 5 and 8, this is where the brain starts changing a little bit, and it switches more to an alpha wave. This is where they start to analyze things, but they still haven't had the annoying voices kick in yet, the beta waves. So they're very here and now, zen. When we reach adolescence, 10 to 19, the beta waves kick in, bringing things like self-doubt, anxiety, the constant stream of thoughts that continue for the rest of our lives, unless we learn how to control our awareness. That will be the focus of this lesson. Intentionally and on command, switching your brainwave, turning off the beta waves. Anyone having trouble to get to sleep, you're going to love this. Anybody who's ever felt their thoughts are too much or they're not making them feel good, you're going to love this too. If you're the kind of person who thinks that you're incapable of meditation, I challenge you to keep an open mind for a minute and stay tuned, because I'm going to teach you here before we're done right now. Meditation in the beginning is about lengthening the space between your thoughts. Mastering meditation is being the space. It takes just a little bit of practice. You might only get a brief moment the first few tries, but as you develop the skill of changing your brainwaves, the space becomes natural. All right. Beta waves are useful. It's how we solve problems, but when it becomes the default, it becomes exhausting. A constant stream of words creates mental noise. Now, here's the shift. When the words slow down, the state changes. Not because we force anything, but because the narration stops. That quieter alert state is often called alpha. Important clarification, you're awake, you're present, but the mind isn't talking. Right? This is where people go, oh, I felt this. Now, if stillness continues, the brain can move into a deeper restorative states, like theta or deep rest. This is why meditation helps with sleep, recovery, and regulation, not because we force it, but because the system is allowed to settle. So if you've been up at night and your brain's been keeping you awake, if you can achieve an alpha state and hold it there, it's not going to be long before you slip into theta and then into a delta sleep. All right? Young children live mostly in experience, not narration. They feel, imagine, sense without constant internal commentary. As we grow, the analytical voice strengthens. With it comes anxiety, self-doubt, overthinking. Meditation isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering how to rest in the awareness without the narration. The skill we're developing isn't forcing silence. It's learning how to stop feeding the narration. In the beginning, it's going to feel like brief gaps between thoughts. With practice, the gap widens. Eventually, you recognize something important. You are not the thoughts. You are the space they appear in. From that space, you can choose your internal state deliberately: calm, clarity, groundedness. And once you can do that, everything else will flow. Okay, we're going to quiet the narration. We're going to rest our attention. We're going to allow stillness. Now, here's the part most people miss. What we feed our mind matters. The mind is incredibly powerful. It's also very sensitive. It responds to whatever we feed it. Constant information, constant stimulation, constant input, news, social media, messages, notifications, opinions. None of it's bad on its own. But when the mind is overstimulated for long periods of time, it never gets a chance to settle. And when the mind doesn't settle, the nervous system stays activated. That's when we start to feel overwhelmed, anxious, scattered, exhausted, even when nothing is technically wrong. Okay, we don't need to remove our head to find peace. We just need to become more intentional about what we expose our minds to and how often we let it rest. This is why learning how to quiet the mind on command isn't a luxury anymore. It's a form of regulation that we all need. So the question becomes, if overstimulation creates more noise, what restores balance? How do we restore it? Not by escaping life, but by regulating where attention lives. When attention settles, the nervous system settles. When the nervous system settles, clarity returns. Okay, stillness will restore balance. Not by escaping life, not by regulating where attention lives. Not by escaping life, but by regulating where attention is. When attention settles, the nervous system settles. Nervous system settles, clarity returns, and from clarity, everything else just becomes easier. Now, we're going to go through a guided exercise together. If you actually give me your all right now, you're about to learn how to cultivate inner peace on command, which is the greatest treasure on earth. Okay? So I need you to do this. Stick with me here, because I want to teach you how to actually do it. How do we get out of our own head without ripping it off? The answer is simple. We just have to control our awareness. So everybody raise your right hand and keep it in the air. Now, without forcing anything, see how long you can go without words passing through your mind. The moment a word appears, commentary, counting, reacting, gently lower your arm. Okay, so we're just seeing how long you can go without a thought going through your head. We're going to start now. Okay, now I'm going to guess a lot of you lasted less than 2 seconds. Some 5, some maybe 10. What matters is not how long, but that you noticed. That moment with no words was the beginning of stillness. Now take a slow breath in and let it out. We're going to do it again. Relax your shoulders. Let the body settle. We're not trying to achieve anything, we're just noticing. Raise your right hand again. This time, imagine a red ball resting gently in your palm, just like the image on the screen. You don't need to see it perfectly, just sense it. Notice something interesting. As your awareness rests in your hands, there are fewer words in your head. That's not a coincidence. Keep the ball in your right hand and notice the stillness in your mind. Now I want you to raise your left hand. Keep the red ball in your right hand for a moment. Can you feel your awareness there? Can you feel your energy in your right hand and it's not in your left? Now gently imagine the red ball moving to your left hand. Notice how your awareness shifts with it. Can you hold it? I'm going to count down from 10 in my mind. Try to hold your awareness in your hand, not in your head. 10, 9. Now switch the ball back again. What you've just experienced is the key. Your imagination is your awareness. Your awareness is your consciousness. And whenever your awareness rests out of your mind, the narration stops. No forcing, no fighting thoughts, just placement. As you pass the ball from one hand to the other, really notice when your awareness is in your hand, there are no words. You will slip into an alpha state. Your nervous system has shifted out of problem solving and into regulation. You didn't suppress thoughts, you simply stopped feeding them. This is how you break the vicious cycle. We'll talk about that later. But for now, this is the skill. Not emptying your mind by force, not trying to stop thoughts, but learning how to place awareness deliberately. With practice, this becomes effortless. And once you can quiet the mind on command, you can choose your internal frequency deliberately. Calm, clear, grounded. Now, before we go any further, I want you to notice something. Right now, does your mind and body feel any different? Does your mind feel quieter? Do you feel more regulated? Not because you forced it, but because you stopped feeding the narration. This is a state most people try to think their way into and never get there. If part of you is thinking that was simple, almost too simple, that's normal. Regulation doesn't feel dramatic. It feels familiar. It feels like coming back. So the challenge isn't getting to this state. The challenge is learning how to return to it consistently so that it becomes your set point. Okay? In real life, under real pressure, when you're tired, when you're triggered, when your environment is loud. So now that we know how to quiet the mind, I have a super simple framework and guidelines. The totality of alignment is about total alignment of the mind, body, and vibration. So let's align the mind. That's why we came here. Here in front of you, there is a straight line and two dashed lines. When your mind is aligned with your goals or what you want in life, it's headed in a positive direction. This segues into the next lesson, which will be a deep understanding of how the law of attraction and vibration get used efficiently. For now, use the framework. Your thoughts are in bounds as long as they're positive and not making you feel bad. If your thoughts are negative or making you feel bad, consider that out of bounds. Simple framework. This takes a little practice. And for some of you, it might seem like your head is full of negative thoughts, and that's okay. It's a good place to start. If you continue to notice your thoughts and kind of be a little bit of a police of them and bring them back to a positive place, it develops a mechanism inside of you that realigns your thinking. It doesn't take very long for my brain to realize I'm headed down a negative path that I don't want to be on, and I put myself back on the path of alignment. This takes practice, and for some of you, it might seem like your head is full of negative thoughts, and that's okay. It's a good place to start. For now, I want you to observe your thoughts, and if you find yourself going down a negative path, recognize your thoughts are out of bounds and shut it down. Take your awareness out of your head before it gains momentum. Okay? And then you can consciously choose to put it back on the path. Now I want you to pause. I want you to breathe. And I want you to notice. Just notice how you feel. Okay, this is where structure matters the most. Because alignment isn't a one-time thing you experience. It has to become practiced until the point that it becomes part of you. What you just experienced wasn't random, it wasn't willpower, it was guided regulation. And that's exactly why I've created an implementation pack, because some of you are going to want more guidance. Now, this is the structure I created to help you return to this state without having to think about it. You listen, you follow, your system settles, that's it. Now, we've only worked with one concept of the mind so far. We have just scratched the surface of the mind. We haven't even talked about the body or vibration yet, and we will go there. But I want you to master the basics. I'm not going to spend time selling this. Some of you will want a way to practice this again on your own. So I made something simple that supports just the mind portion that we worked with today. It's there if you want it. The integration pack is $7. Not because the work is small, but because the practice needs to be repeated and accessible for everyone. No subscription, no pressure, just something you can return to when your system needs it. Now, I want to say this once clearly. You didn't end up here by accident. You were drawn to this moment because something in you is already ready for change. What we worked with today isn't just an idea, it's a practice. And practice is what turns moments into momentum. This integration pack is simply a way to bring today's work into your daily life, quietly, consistently, without effort. 30 days from now, 6 months from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, where you are will be different. Not because of willpower, because you chose to cultivate a healthy mind, body, and vibration. Guys, $7 is not going to change my life, but the information I'm sharing with you sure has. And this will be the best $7 you ever spent. And that's why I'm sharing it with you. This might be the moment you remember, the day you decided to consistently support your mind, body, and vibration. And if it doesn't resonate, I'll send your money back, no friction, no explanation. This isn't pressure, it's an invitation. Alignment works best when it's allowed to gain momentum. To keep momentum going, it's time for you to take action. Click the button below to allow this to become natural for you. Let's spend more time together. Okay, I want to thank you for continuing to explore the space of awareness. I want to invite you back for more lessons. But right now, I really encourage you to get that toolkit, integrate this into your daily life. Okay, click the button below. Namaste.